is 7:10. First item on the agenda was the approval of the minutes from February, and I don't know if you guys even remember what went on in February, but at the time, they've been out there for a couple of months, and I haven't heard anything from you that there was anything unusual about that. So can I get a motion that the minutes from February be approved?
Motion to approve the minutes of February.
Second.
So that was a motion by Andrea and seconded by Pam?
Yes.
Yes. Approved.
Well, no, we have to do the vote.
Oh, Brendan.
Yeah, we got to do the vote. So I'm just going to go down the line. Andrea, yes or no?
Yes.
Nick, yes or no?
Yes.
Pam, yes or no?
Yes.
Bob, yes or no?
Yes.
Brendan, I'm going to say yes. Did I miss anybody?
Melanie and Alan, but they're not here.
Yeah, they're missing.
Yeah. You know, Melanie is just off of an operation, so things can't be too nice over there.
And Alan's still down in Virginia.
Although the internet he can participate even in Virginia, but that's neither here nor there. Okay. Are we recorded, Brendan?
It looks like we are, yeah.
All right. Second item on the agenda. This is the one that is going to take some time only because I'm going to review correspondence and communications as they've come in. There is nothing really here that I think requires voting, but it definitely, I want you to be aware of what's going on in our community in reference to us. We got a request, believe it or not, from the mayor's office. I say not from the mayor, but it is from the mayor. He has an idea, or he was out in walking around in vacationing in Newport, and he came across a souvenir book on a Newport walking tour. He came across a souvenir book on cemeteries up in Newport, and it's a pretty interesting little book. It's pretty hefty. It costs about $25. It's a hard copy, and he just got word to me via Trish that maybe we could pursue putting together some kind of a souvenir book for the library, for raising funds for the library. And he is interested in cemeteries, in our cemeteries. As you can remember from what he has allowed done for the Ames burial, reburial. They spent a lot of money in Week Cemetery to do that. So it seems to be an idea that's in his head. And I'm bringing it up. It's a project that will require, again, lists of names and how to produce a product, how to produce a book, and it should be done in conjunction with the library, with Margaret. And I think it would be a worthy thing. And also, I think it would bring us back in touch on a reasonable level with the Historical Society, trying to get them to plug into our needs. But we would be the driving force behind this. So I just bring that up to you, that this is a very sideways communication from the mayor, but it did come from the mayor's office. And I just bring that up to you. And it is something that I think I would like to pursue, and I have started pursuing it myself. I talked to the lady that wrote the Newport book. I asked her about costs, you know, what she would do if she did it again, et cetera, et cetera. So there's stuff to be pursued here, and we're not at a stage as a group, you and I, to do anything, but I really do think that this might be something that we can parlay with the library's doings, and I think we should. I think it would fall within our purview to do that. We've certainly supported the mayor in reference to the cemetery project, so I see no reason why we can't pursue this.
So Bob, you think this would be a good, like, maybe like a Q3, Q4 project to look at? Because I know, you know, we've got a few irons in the fire already, and then I know the library is going to be a little distracted with their move. So I feel like this is a great idea, and I think it's I'm super enthused about it. But I think it's something that we should look at as maybe a second half of the year project to maybe even tee it up for 2020.
I think that's a good idea. The only reason, I don't even know what quarter we're in. I don't even know if this is Wednesday or Monday, but at any rate, my friend, I agree with you. I think this is something that isn't going to take place in the very near future, but I wanted to at least bring it up that this came from the mayor's office, and I think we should pursue it. But we do have initiatives, at least two major initiatives, that I think we're already plugged into, and those are the ones we should emphasize. But I only bring it up for your information.
Cool.
I think if I could, there are two things you need to consider. First of all, the Community Development Authority may have already done a great deal of background work on our historical cemeteries, such as the one behind the Walker Building and the Week Cemetery. So there may be a load of information there. The other issue is whether or not we're including the city cemeteries or all the cemeteries, as a large number of our historical figures were buried at the IC cemetery. We need to get information from the Archdiocese.
Yes, you're right, Pamela. The Newburyport book that I'm looking at and that the mayor looked at, it's a single cemetery. And, you know, there's a lot of history there. But I think there's a lot more history, believe it or not, in Marlborough as history. And it's diffused throughout a number of cemeteries. So this is a project that would, you know, would have to include more than one cemetery, and it would be like a walking tour, not a walking tour, a driving tour, but yeah, of a historical nature. I think it would be a major product, even if it's a small package. You are correct, Pamela. You are correct.
Bob, can I ask about the book that you're looking at? Does it just feature like mini biographies of people? What is it?
Yeah. Who died? Here's a picture of a tombstone. Who is this guy? And what's a little bit of his history? I think there are 140 pages in the book. I can't remember how many people are listed, but again, I think this is you know, we have to make a list and whittle it down. Yeah. But I think Marlborough, we're fortunate. There's all kinds of history here. So I think that's a project that should take place within our future. It doesn't have to be our near future. Okay?
Yep.
I'm just keeping everybody informed. Okay. Yeah, along those lines, in reference to the historic homes, the signage in the historic homes, you know, that's a library, that can be a library thing too. I'm sort of combining a couple of notes here, but if you think about it, the Carpenter paintings, the 100 or so Carpenter paintings in the library, I went through the list, and I've discovered about 55 of the Carpenter paintings. The houses still exist. So we're doing signage, and this is one of our initiatives. I'm thinking maybe we could parlay this in reference to the library's expansion and focus our initial list on the Carpenter paintings.
Yeah.
The signage for the Carpenter houses. And that definitely falls within the number that I think the mayor is willing to pay for if we can get this done, 55 or so. And, you know, I suppose we could supply more, but the emphasis would be, well, here's a project, we've got a new library, this is one of the items that's in the library for all to see, and lo and behold, the Historical Commission is going to try to create new home signage for these particular historical homes. And then off of that, the whole point, I think that the committee has agreed to, our committee has agreed to, is that this is the beginning. This would be the beginning. We could start with a particular group of signs, and then we can broaden out in some way. So I think there's an ability here to, I think, parlay a couple of things, and it sort of focuses on the library.
Yeah, do we know that if the Carpenter paintings are going to be included in the new library?
They have to be. Yeah, they're part of the library trustees. They have to be. I'm sure they'll be.
You know what? I'll confirm that. Just, I mean, yes. All I know is for sure the books and the turtle are definitely making the move.
Yes. Yes.
So outside of Spike, I haven't asked about it, but I can follow up with Samantha and make sure that those are being included as far as where they're going to go and the types of what their plans are to do with those.
And I think anything that I've said that's come from the mayor's office, one of the items that has come up is anything that we do should be done in conjunction with Margaret. And, you know, if it's going to be related somehow to the library, make sure she's part of our group, part of our planning. Okay. I was at, again, communications. I was at a site plan committee meeting recently in reference to, I think it's D&H van lines on Mechanic Street. It's a small moving van company off of Mechanic, almost at the intersection of Mechanic and Elm. I forgot to write down the exact number of it, but I was at the committee at that meeting, at the review, and lo and behold, the man, what he wants to do is, it's in a very awkward situation. This old, I think it was originally a barn, a historical barn. It's on the walking tour. It's on the rail trail. The back of it is on the rail trail. And his design, I thought, was wonderful. I'm going to try to get that put up on the screen for you guys. I have it in a file somewhere. I want to put that in a, either send it to you or get it to you some way so that you can see what this man is doing. It's only, I think it's only going to be big enough for 6 apartments, 6 condos or whatever he's going to make them into. And he has a problem with the property lines because of, again, the location. It's in the back of some property. But what I wanted to at least bring up to you is, again, here's a situation where I, as the commission, have spoken with this man, and he's aware that we're aware of historical buildings, design. He was kind of grateful for the idea that someone was interested in how he designed his building, because more often than not in site plan, all we're really concerned about is plumbing and heating and the practical things like that. So
Bob, do you have the address for that property? I'm on Google.
It's Mechanic Street, and I think the original building was D&H Van Lines, I believe.
But there's no number, no building number?
It does have it. I don't have it with me. I'm sorry.
All right.
Bob, if you want to just, after the meeting, if you want to just send that along to me, and then I'll distribute it as we have been. I'll drop it in our Google Drive and make sure that the team has access to it.
Perfect.
Sure. Absolutely.
If it's DN Van Lines, it was around 268 Mechanic Street.
Yeah, that's what I thought
Unbelievable,
too.
Pamela. You're probably right. Check that one out. Yeah. And it's not the Van Lines anymore. It's an empty building. That's why this guy wants
Right,
to.
Van Lines moved to Northborough.
Yeah, that's why this guy wants to do something with it. I just want you to know that there is a gentleman that's willing to do work on an old piece of property and an old building to modernize it, and yet the design that I saw, it was definitely respectful of the neighborhood, and it backs up onto the rail trail, and he's aware of what do you call it, plantings and all of the things Priscilla Ryder would be interested in. He's got.
We talked about it's 269. We talked about this property back in at our last meeting.
Yeah.
269.
Yeah, it's across the street.
Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, it's tucked away in the back.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually did a drive-by to take a look at that after we did the
Did you go
meeting
back?
the last time. Yeah, it's in a pretty terrible condition right now, but the idea that he has to, as far as a redevelopment goes, that's an exciting initiative for that
Absolutely.
spot. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think his problem is going to be property lines. Just the entrance to the property, fire trucks might not
His
be.
entrance to the property is only a 10-foot wide right of way through somebody else's property.
Yes.
It was an office building before DN Van Lines took it. And
Right.
Yes, he has to talk with that landlord or the owner of that house right on Mechanic Street, and that's the problem. But I forgot that we even brought that up. But at any rate, there it is again. And lastly, as far as important communications are concerned, I had another conversation, a telephone conversation with Mr. George Voyatzis in the Armory.
Oh,
And Pamela, could you help me with this? George is a very nice guy and he's easy to talk to, but when I try to go to get physical facts, you know, like going to the South Middlesex deeds and stuff. I can't really see his name anywhere. So
It was bought, George bought the property last year. And the reason you can't see the name is
Oh,
Pam, you dropped out.
Pam, can you please go back on the stairs?
I'm losing you on the stairs too.
oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not happy with
we
Verizon
lost
right at
you.
this moment.
We lost you when you said the reason why you can't see his name, and then you went,
Because he's probably got some LLC that owns it, right?
That's correct.
got it.
And
If
also
it's in Massachusetts,
because-
I can find you the LLC information. That's easy.
No, I can find I have the information. I can send it to you. That's not a problem. There's also a problem with the address that's given.
It's a
And sometimes
combination.
they have, yeah, they give the wrong address.
Okay, all right, that much I do know. Here's what I want to bring up to the commission in my conversation with him. He has actually given me his floor plan. He's given me an engineering plan that talks about how bad the inside is and what has to be done. He's aware of all of that. He's got the floor plan, and he's got the rendering for the outside as a description of what it's to look like. And so he's definitely in his mind moved along these lines. He spent a lot of money just getting these plans together. So I think he's really committed. But when I bring up, well, you know, it's the Massachusetts Historical Commission that's got to approve any changes to that building. He's kind of, I don't want to say loosey-goosey, but he's very calm and collected about, well, they're going to be very amenable to him. They'll be very amenable to him. Well, I don't see anything in writing, and that sort of concerns me. I asked him about parking, and because his plans now, it looks like there's 21 condos, 21 units that he's talking about inside that building. I asked him about parking, and he said he's already in conversation with the owner of the property, the little diner across the street. He's going to take that property. He's going to buy that property and use that for parking.
Okay, the problem with that is the only parking for the diner across the street is owned by the city of Marlborough.
No, I think he's going to take the diner down, Pam.
Okay, he's still not going to get that much parking out of there, but that's something that he's going to have to get through site plan. I do know that George has been there because I had to call the police because the lights were on, and I knew the lights had been turned off several years ago. He's been in the building with the engineers, and I do believe he's gotten the information. I will tell you that when the last time I was in court with the previous owner of that property for failure to keep the property up, I was advised at the time by the mayor that if once again they applied for a demo permit at that location, the Mass Historical would send a letter to the mayor's office asking for their opinion. Originally, the mayor's office had sent a letter saying they didn't want it taken down. At the point that I was in court, the mayor said he might be amenable, to taking it down. But I think the issue is going to be, as long as the mayor and the city council is happy with whatever George presents, he shouldn't have a difficult time making it through the Mass Historical. I think that they will be agreeable for the reuse of the building.
Yeah, I see based on what he's presented, and again, I will get this out to you, all of the PDFs that he's given me, and there are three of them. Based on what I see, It's as nice as the one that's in Wellesley. I mean, it's a brick building that looks like a little castle in the front. I mean, that's basically it. It's
That's
nothing.
Natick. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Natick's the one. That's a
Natick's the one,
real
yeah.
fancy job they did there with the
Yeah.
the courtyard in the front of the building and everything. It's
Right,
real nice.
he's looking to keep the castle brick in the front, and then he's going to have to rearrange the back for the living quarters. But I bring this up only because, again, I think he's really committed to this, and I really want us to support him if in our own way that we can, without doing something out of the ordinary. Because this is Lincoln Street, this is French Hill, this is coming down to what is it, Happy Hollow there, where the rail trail begins, and there's construction going to go on where the old train station was. I mean, it's all connected. It's going to be a great thing if it comes together. So I want to support.
Yeah.
I want to help support.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah. So I bring that up. That Voyatis Armory is definitely moving ahead. It's just that I wish I felt more comfortable that it was secure. But
Yeah, Bob, the other thing too we have to just keep in mind is any of these projects that are ongoing right now, unless they were, even if they were planning on financing it with cash, that the finance situation right now is going to be grueling for the next couple of years. I wouldn't be surprised to see anything he's got pushed forward if he starts slow footing it.
Oh yeah. We're going to have plenty of time for this. I just want us to be on board with.
No, I like the idea that the mayor is.
I want the Marlborough Historical Commission, as part of the city of Marlborough, saying we kept the armory, and it's a great thing for the residents of Marlborough. Not because it's an armory, but because we kept an old building and we made it useful as well as historic.
Yeah, that's in that area too. To your point before, we know that's an area of focus for the city. Between the development that's going on the corner there, and just the general sense of investment in that area. So yeah, I definitely think that's important that we stay involved and be a supportive voice for that, just like we have been with the library project.
Definitely. Captain Nick, you're not on my screen. I know you're there.
Correct, I'm here.
I don't know why you're not on my screen. I see Mark Gibbs, and I haven't heard from Mark Gibbs in ages, but
You have the little people icon. You can click and it shows you who's in the meeting.
Nick.
He's definitely there. I don't know if he has his camera on though. That might be
I
what.
can turn my camera on if that'll help. Oh, let's see.
Whatever you're comfortable with, Nick.
Better? It's a little dark in here, sorry.
All right, there you are.
There you are.
He's in a bunker.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I just want to be part of the group, my friend.
Of course.
All right. Okay, so that's pretty much the talk part of it. Moving on to the discussion of projects, historical preservation review period. I have to write this phrase down and put it on a sticker on my bathroom window mirror when I'm shaving and stuff, because demo delay is out as far as we're concerned. The term demo delay has now become historic preservation review period. I think that's one that we can use, and that's That's just something that I think we can use. If you can come up with something that sounds a little bit more sweet, then fine. But,
I like that one better than demolition.
Yeah, that one's good.
So I'm good with
I
that.
think we had didn't we come up, we had one from the past that we had used, wasn't it? I think it's around those lines.
Well, I just had historic period review, but it's historic preservation review period. That's what we're doing here.
Right.
And that's what I would like to see. I didn't expect Melanie to have anything produced for this meeting, but I assume, and Andrea, maybe you have been in touch, I assume that whatever that PowerPoint presentation was that you guys put together, that is still being acted on or is close to being finished.
We still have it, but I feel like we had to rethink how we were going to approach it because the bylaw had all kinds of stuff. The draft bylaw that we came up with had assumed that we wouldn't have a list of properties in advance.
Yes.
It was going to be sort of more of like, as these things come up, we were going to discuss them. And once we talked to Mr. Offing, and he made the suggestion of, hey, you might want to identify properties in advance. That's sort of when we got onto the carpenter painting list and the list of the properties from Macris, and we were going to work backwards, right? Like that's what I recall. Okay. So yes, we do have the PowerPoint, but it definitely would need to kind of be rethought out based on the new approach to how we were going to look at the properties.
Right, and where I have that, Bob, is what we had last discussed was we were going to carve up that list to get an understanding of, to just physically understand, so the board members would just physically inspect and understand which of these things are worth including in the list and what not. The list was rather big. One of the things that I encountered, so I started to work on the list, but one of the things that to carve it up so that we could go and take a look at it. And one of the things that maybe I need access to execute that part of it is an Excel sheet of the street addresses and what ward they're in, because then I can carve the Macris list up by regions, by little pieces. So then we each have a small little neighborhood to go walk through or drive through to eyeball the properties, as opposed to, well, here's a whole pile of them and people are going to be zipping all over the state.
Yeah, okay.
If you go to the city's website and go to the mapping
GIS,
section of the city's website on the GIS, you can put layers on there that'll include precincts, wards, and so on, and neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
So
will it give me will it output? So I messed around with that, Pam, and candidly, I couldn't find a way to just output the list. I just need the data so I can combine the two spreadsheets so we can carve them up.
I don't know.
I'll have to look at the GIS again.
Yeah, Nat, I'll get in touch with Nat and see if he's helped put that Macris list, that Macris Excel sheet together. I'm going to ask him if that's can that be fitted into the GIS? It's
almost definitely is in his database schema, the ward and precinct. So it could theoretically, it could be a 2-minute thing for him to do.
I won't say that to him.
No. Right.
Smart move.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. Okay, but that's right, Andrea.
Yeah.
We started off and it came down to the idea that this list is the key for us moving forward.
Correct.
And okay, that will be next. So there again.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, shoot, Tim.
What is it we hope to accomplish during any review period?
I think it's going to depend on the property.
Oh, yeah. I say, Pamela, I say demolition delay is not the phrase that we're going to use.
Right,
But,
no, I understand that.
But historic preservation review period is a demolition delay ordinance.
Right.
And whatever the ordinance says that we have to do, that's what we're going to do. It's written out. There is an ordinance there.
Are we doing that in an attempt to get more information about the property?
No, I think the delay, the business about a review period is to allow whoever is in this process to allow the public to participate in, if it is a historical building, can we do something that is not just taking it down and replacing it with another building or another piece of property? Can we use it? Can we help it be used, even if it means moving it?
Or using pieces of it for other historic.
Yes, yes.
It's going to depend on the property.
Yes, exactly right. But the point then being is we have to have this list. We have to know which properties are worth, take the Armory. Just if there is no public participation, if there is no kind of public participation, it is just going to be torn down and rebuilt. Seems to be a Marlborough thing. Just tear the thing down and put something up.
But we don't have. We can speak to a developer till the cows come home. If their intent is to tear something down, it's going to get torn down. I guess my concern is instead of doing that, but in lieu, right at the moment, once we identify the properties that we think are appropriate, we should ask those individuals. For instance, the perfect one is Rose Funeral Home.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to get taken down anytime soon, but there's a lot of material in there that could be useful other places.
Right.
So maybe it would be, and I'm sure that John or Peter would allow anybody, hopefully a better photographer than I am, to go into the property and identify what's there. And if any of it can be reused somewhere else, or, I mean, there are people that do that for a living, and that's something that we could do right away. We could identify those properties and do that right away, because I'm thinking that once we've identified the properties and somebody wants to tear the building down, we're not going to have any dog in the fight.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying, Pamela.
And now having thrown
the fact of the matter is, based on what life in the 21st century is like in the good old US of A, if it's going to be torn down, more often than not, it's going to be torn down. However, I think it's our responsibility as a commission to at least allow for a respite period before it takes place. And if everybody has come forward and said something like, well, geez, Mr. Rowe, I love those 3 pillars. I'll take them myself. Just the pillars. Yes, but if there isn't that historic presentation review period, it's not it won't necessarily happen. So, I mean, if there is something written down that there is going to be a respite of some sort, there's at least the opportunity.
I'm afraid I'm running out of battery. I'm gonna have to back out. I'm running out of battery. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right.
Are we gonna lose the quorum because of Pam?
No.
We still have 4 of 7.
Okay.
But make a record of that.
Oh yeah, I've already got it on my way.
all right.
Believe it or not, I have a spreadsheet for this.
All right. Okay. So as far as the minutes that we have here, the list and the historic review period, that actually goes together now.
Yes.
And signage, that actually plugs in. That plugs
Plugs
into the
in.
list.
Yeah,
It-
this is all. This,
Together. Yeah.
yeah, this was the synergy that we were working on that I've been trying to get us to. That yeah, these are all that the Macris list is our key element right now as far as the starting point goes. And then once we've identified those properties, then that will shape, to Andrea's point, that shapes what the review period language looks like, because we're going to know the number of properties and the types of properties. 2, we want to make sure that we're, to Pam's point, that we have an understanding of the what's actionable from that list, what we're really asking for from the city in passing that ordinance, because we don't want to be we don't want to necessarily slow down development in the city or create friction in the development process in the city as much as we want to have the ability for these identified projects to be reviewed and understood, what's happening, why, and the importance of preserving it, as opposed to just knocking it down in the middle of the night. Again, the example, and I've said this before, 35 John Street was an informal application of what we're after. The developer had a need to remove the structure. They approached you and said, here's what it is. It's in a district. What can we do? Legally, you can do whatever you want. You can knock it down. We appreciate the call. And candidly, it's not a preservable structure. The difference being, they didn't just go at it with a bunch of sledgehammers and take it down, because then it's too late.
Exactly right.
And then the what to do if it is a property of interest, that we need to work out again once we've identified the properties, once we've identified the types of things that we're talking about. It seems like we're going to end up with just a lot of houses. And the types of preservation for those, the types of activities, the types of development are going to be different than, say, an industrial building or something like the Armory.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is good. This is good, because I think this has helped me see that what I call the initiatives that we've for the past year and a half been pushing, the initiatives, they are initiatives, they are important, they are what we have to latch on to. However, in order to get the job done, the starting point isn't each individual initiative the way I've been pushing it. I think the starting point is the damn list.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
If we have the list and we know what's there and what the value is, then from that will come delays and signs and
Remember, don't use the D word, Bob.
yes.
So,
Sign, etc.
right. Go ahead, Andrea.
Is there a time frame that we could reasonably shoot for that list? Because I'll be honest with you, for me, that would be a really good spring summer project to get out in the city and,
If I can get the data amended the way that I want it to, like I said, it should be a 2-minute. If I had access to the database, I could do it in 2 seconds. If I can get that information I can have the list carved up for each of us, so we each have an area to go and look at. And obviously, I'm going to bust it up by ward and precinct. I mean, that's literally a half an hour job for me once I get because I have the macros list. I've scrubbed through it,
Right.
and deduped it, and I just need that that information. So,
All right.
Bob, if you can connect me via email, if you can give me an email introduction to your contact in the office in the GIS, I can do the legwork. I'll ask him. So I'm not trying to ask you to ask him. If you want to just intro us via email, I'll take the reins and get what I need.
This is good. This is good. I will let you know that the DPW is also internally split with doing part of the group is in the office at one time and part is not in the office, et cetera, et cetera. So
no worries. I understand everybody's kind of cobbling together an existence. So that's why I said if you just connect me via email, we can just get an expectation. Obviously, I'm not going to scream and yell and say, I got to have it right now, but it's one of those, hey, you got a few extra minutes if you could rerun the list with intended information. I love it.
He'll definitely want to help.
Yeah, no worries. This is my job.
All right. Okay. So the big takeaway for me from this meeting is the list. All right. Pursuing the list.
And then the go forward is you're going to connect me to the person in the DPW. I'm going to carve up that list so then we can do a physical inspection of each of the properties that are on the list that are to make sure that they're significant. And then I think to Andrea's point, maybe we set September or August or September. We don't traditionally have an August meeting. But maybe we lost some time. We lost a couple of meetings in the spring, so maybe we say by August we got that list buttoned up.
Okay, I'm glad you. Yeah, no, that sounds like a workable thing for us to be pursuing as a group, and that is how I'll present it to them.
Okay.
I just want to mention too, I'm sorry Pamela isn't here. I just want to mention too that we got word again from the mayor's office that our meetings will now be held in the mayor's conference room and not in that little counselor's meeting room down on the first floor. Our meetings will now, when we get back to having meetings in a conference room.
So where we had that presentation for the library?
I don't know that presentation, Brendan. No, not that one. No, that's the third floor.
Okay.
The mayor's own conference room, which is up one more flight, the fourth floor.
Yeah, it's up in the caves up in the top there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's good that we'll be there.
Okay.
So I better write that. I better write that in an email because that has changed. But I think at least for a month or two, we'll still be in this pandemic mode in one form or another. I don't know, but I think so. Okay, so we'll put emphasis on the list. Is there anything else you guys, Captain Nick, you're very patient. Is there anything you want to say or want to add?
Not really. The sooner we get that list, I've been walking around the city all day to kill time anyway. I might as well do something with it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, that's good. And
Bob, I'll follow up with you with an email tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll get that information. And I have, I bought a new camera, and I've actually taken pictures of old buildings, et cetera, so I'm on the way myself, just as a personal thing. But okay, we've discussed a number of items. I don't think there are any that there's any voting on. And again, I feel like I as a chair should be packaging things that are, you know, products. But I don't know what else to say. I think if we can pursue it along these lines, if you guys can be patient with me, if we can pursue it along these lines and keep me on track, I think something will come of it, and I think it will come. And Brendan has said this to me before. I think it will come in 2020, and I think we'll make our mark on Marlborough. So at least I'm hoping that.
So I'd like wherever I think we have a good initiative. We have good buy-in from all the members on the team, and obviously, you know, we're short a couple right now, but you know, we have a clear roadmap. We have buy-in from our team members. We have support from the city and the mayor's office. So yeah, I think you're right, Bob. We just obviously with what's going on right now, our timelines are going to get a little blown. We're going to have to be a little flexible because obviously there's going to be a lot of changes going forward. But I think we're in a good position to move forward.
Okay. Andrea, anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion to seconded.
Seconded. Voting.
Yeah, everybody go down the line. Bob,
Yeah.
yes. And Andrea, yes.
Yes.
Who's left on the
Nick.
list? Nick, yes or no?
Yeah.
And I'm a yes.
Okay. It's 8:02.
Thanks, Bob.
It is.